Well, hello and welcome to our Subconscious Speaks. My name's Don Robert, and together with the amazing, talented, beautiful,
Oh,
award-winning bestie,
Tina Orlando.
together we are
Tina Orlando.
and on. Hello, Tina Orlando.
Hi, how are you?
I'm really good. Things are going my way right now, and I kind of like it.
Perfect.
Yeah, it
Well,
feels really good. Because, from the beginning of the year, I've started on this kind of new path of manifesting the life of my dreams
mm-hmm.
and I've been living it. And then, of course, life on life's terms can get a little bumpy.
Sometimes
Like, all of Southern California can go on catch fire
it's
and
true.
you can lose power for 3 weeks in a row.
hmm
And
hmm
then I go to Florida and I have a great long weekend. And then I come home sick as a dog and I can't even talk for 3 days. Like,
Right.
okay, there's January and most of February, and it's like,
hmm
but you know what? It's all good.
It's all good.
It's all good.
I
Yeah.
like it. I
Uh,
like it.
and I'm right in step with the whole blooming of the
hmm
season, right? I'm
hmm hmm
blooming right now, and it feels
hmm
wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good. Yeah, taking on a new endeavor, you
Are you
know.
at liberty to share? I mean, we've got so much that we can talk about today. Oh my God. And we will talk about some of it at a high level, but I want to hear about you.
Well, I had that the opportunity to do a hypno sound
Mm,
event.
mm, mm.
Um, yeah, it's pretty fabulous. It's typical sound bath, but this is pretty profound when you start adding hypnosis to it.
Yeah.
It's a little deeper than meditation. It's a little more personalized. I've
Yeah.
done them before. I did one with past life regressions,
Uh-huh.
which is pretty fabulous. And so this one was just about an overall feel good, getting control of your life, get centered. This is the time of year to bloom, as we have said. Um, so it was pretty phenomenal. Um, but yeah, so
I'm
that's
so
that's
excited for you with
the
that.
new
That is so
endeavor.
cool. I actually just connected with a new friend on Facebook. Oh, by the way, I've made a conscious decision to broaden my circle. So I've been connecting with a lot of like-minded people because my algorithm, me, I
Mm-hmm.
want to see more of what I want to see and not what
hmm
Facebook wants me to see.
Right, right,
The 8 million ads. Oh, wait, there's a post for my sister smashed in between all of the ads.
right, right.
But listen, I'm good with it. I'm okay with Facebook being what it is. It's just an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to connect. And so that's been nice. And I connected with somebody that has a sound bath studio over in Ojai, which is one of my
Mm-hmm.
favorite places around us.
Very
Um,
nice.
yeah, so they hold that. She's like next level. She just like does it for a living, and
Mm-hmm.
they have a sacred space and they have events like all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this whole like what's funny about this breath work thing and the sound bath and is the sound bath incorporate breath work? I'm assuming, right? Or is that you
Yes,
sprinkling in your breath work with hypnosis?
yes. Yes. I'm sprinkling in the breath work with the hypnosis. And it's pretty great. So I'm doing another one tomorrow, another private one.
Yeah, I'm pretty jealous, I have to be honest. Yeah.
Stop.
I'm calling it forward. This is something that appeals to me. So I'm either going to go experience it
Well,
and
you are.
then join forces with you, separate or
Mhm.
together. But yeah, I'm really happy for you. This is
Yeah.
wonderful, and it fits you. It's just right up your alley.
It
Yeah,
is. It's way out there, and it's
I love it.
um, yeah. So tomorrow I'm doing both. I'm actually doing the
Solo
bowls
journey.
and the hypnosis. So
Wow. All right. Yeah,
we'll
yeah. You
see.
mentioned that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So because my sound person, who typically plays the bowls and the gong, is leaving me in December. So I have now until December to kind of master these singing bowls. So I'm on that journey and I love it. It's very,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
hypnotic to even play them.
Hmm.
Um,
Absolutely.
prior to us starting the session, um, I was playing them for probably about 30 to 40 minutes.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's yeah, and it's just pretty intense. It's a pretty intense experience to do the hypnosis with the sound.
Well, that
Um,
vibration is in itself, but without
yeah,
your golden voice layered over the top is like hypnotic
yeah,
in itself.
right.
Yeah.
And then the gong is um, pretty pretty intense all by itself. Um, it's a 3 foot gong, so it's big. So the vibration you're getting off of that and the
Hmm.
sounds that roll through that gong are just so incredible. Um, so I'm hoping tomorrow I might have some more information. So everyone has to stay tuned to hear what's going to happen in the next month or two. So, mhm.
I can't help but like I literally just opened Apple Music because I just want to play Bang a Gong so bad. But there's like multiple different, is it T-Rex that did that originally?
I'm not sure.
I mean, either. It's so old.
Hmm. It's so
Well, it's
fabulous.
glam rock. It's on a glam rock album in Apple Music from 1971. And so, yeah, I'm gonna guess that this is the one. Let me see if I can pull it off. And let's see. I have to change for the musicians, and then I have to share sound. This is a whole process. Have you done this? This whole topic of like using music in sessions has come up. Is that something that you do? I can't remember if we've
I
talked about
do.
this.
I do. I use
Every
um,
session, all the time?
every session has
Oh, that's right.
music
We
in
talked
it.
about this because you use an extraneous
Hmm.
device.
Hmm.
Are you just using your phone?
I am.
Okay, so here's what's weird about the audio that I have set up. Right, I have
Hmm.
this, this Rode
Hmm.
mic that's got noise cancellation because I have
Hmm.
dogs all around me and I can't be having
Hmm.
barking dogs while I'm, working with you in hypnosis. So what's the workaround that you figured out with that?
Um, I don't have, oddly, you don't hear too much. Um, I don't have a problem with it because so I'm speaking into my phone using the music um, in my phone at the same time, and I'm recording it on my phone while
Ah,
I'm on Facebook or while I'm on Zoom here with my client.
I thought you couldn't play music and record at the same time on your phone. Are you using like some sort of special app or something?
It records it. I don't know.
Huh. All
It
right.
does it every
We'll have to
time.
take this offline because people are wondering when are we going to start talking about hypnosis?
Right. Well,
We are.
we are technically.
Yeah.
And yeah. So anyway, um, this is so up my alley too. You really know me. It's like
I can't help myself.
very bohemian as it is.
Very what?
I said this is so up my alley because I'm very bohemian that most people don't realize it, but I am. Yeah.
I actually like this whole like Electric Warrior
Hmm.
2003 remastered from T-Rex. The subheading is glam rock, which is I like it.
Hmm.
I may have worn eyeliner before in my life. Guy liner, we call it, but yeah. Um,
Hmm.
all right. Well, so should we start with non-specific announcements of pending guests? Just can we just maybe talk about how excited we are about the next several weeks and the
I
people
am
that
stoked.
are circling the wagons to support us and take part in this wonderful journey we call Our Subconscious Speaks.
Hmm.
How exciting. And it begins next
Hmm.
week.
Yes.
Yeah. So for those of you that are used to getting the episodes uploaded on Sundays after we record on Saturdays, I think I
Might
can
be
still
late.
pull that off.
Might be late on Sunday
It might
though.
be late on Sunday. You'll have it for it'll still be Subconscious Sunday though. It just,
Absolutely.
my people on the East Coast, it might be a little late for you, but you'll have it for your Monday morning commute.
And it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be unbelievable. I mean,
Unbelievable.
it's really a testament to, we say this. I don't really say it anymore when I introduce ourselves. When I introduce you, I say it, but on the tagline on our Subconscious Speaks websites is, two award-winning clinical hypnotherapists, but like it almost feels like a little bit of a throwaway, like, oh yeah, award-winning, like, yeah, okay.
Whatever.
Yeah. No,
Hmm.
top of our class, like
Hmm.
literally the two of us are, or two of, I think it was 5 or 6 that year that they gave it, because there's so many of us, but all of these amazing instructors. And geez, I wanna say who the crown jewel guest is that's going to be coming. I let it out into a practicum the other day.
I'm so stoked.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I'm
I'm
going
so
with the asking for forgiveness is better than asking for permission.
well, I'm just thrilled that I got a response.
Yeah.
It was, I'm just tickled
Well,
pink.
why wouldn't you though? They appreciate us. They know the good. We're two shining examples of what can be. Truly,
Absolutely,
truly.
absolutely. I was just because I didn't think that they would do it. Not for any other reason than I don't know, just my own stuff.
Well,
So
the
I
only
just,
only one I thought might not do it is George. Oops, cat's out of the bag. I mean,
but
if you know HMI, you know that name. I'm not going to give you more than that, but that's super freaking exciting because, as I said to you offline, I don't think I've ever heard him do any podcasts ever.
true.
Yeah. So we're special.
It's, I had to pull on, if I had to pull on the heartstrings, I would, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Um, but I was so thrilled. So,
Yeah, me too. All right.
mhm. But
So
next week,
last week we demystified.
but wait.
What?
What about
Okay, I'm
next week?
sorry.
But what about next week? We have a guest next week.
Oh yeah, are we announcing now all the? Do we want to do a teaser of who's coming next week?
Absolutely.
All right. I
Absolutely.
didn't know what you wanted to do about that.
Live. We
So
don't rehearse.
you're super excited, and so am I. My first mentor. We've both worked with him. We both
Hmm.
love and respect his talent and his commitment and his brilliance. Go ahead, Tina. Give it away.
The amazing Joe Tabanella.
Say
Um,
what?
I
Who?
mean, the amazing Joe Tab. Like,
Yeah.
he is brilliant, right?
Unbelievable. Yeah. Just a stream of
Yeah.
brilliant consciousness. It's incredible.
Just sit back, buckle up, sit back, and just
Just
let it
wind him
wash
up and
over.
then let him
Just let
go.
him go. And I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he's brilliant. He's such an interesting thinker. When you sit back, you kind of watch. He's an interesting thinker. The way his mind kind of connects,
Hmm.
and how fast he is with his processes.
His processor is absolutely like 8 gigahertz. Yeah. It's up there.
It's
It's,
crazy.
yeah.
So I'm really excited. So it'll be, hypnosis, NLP, anything he wants to talk about, and we're hoping that
Anything.
he might give us a little um, teaser of what he's up to
Yeah.
and all of his stuff. So I'm
Hmm.
really excited that we're going to have him here.
I'm so excited about that as well. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it doesn't stop there. We've
No, it
got
does not.
several of our heroes lined up.
Yes. So if you're from HMI, I don't know, maybe, you could hang out and be able to listen and hear some stuff.
Yeah, you might want to
Hmm.
tune in. You might want to
Hmm.
click that subscribe button,
Hmm.
turn on the bell.
Because you
You
never know what could happen
you
with
just
any
never
of
know.
them.
Magic.
Yes. And
That's what's
then,
happening.
the rest of the rest of the lineup, I mean, who's going to be here in a couple of weeks?
I mean, the queen of all that is imagery is going to be here. Oh my god.
I'm
How
so
crazy is
excited.
it that like we're just fanboy and fangirling out on the fact that our beloved Cheryl O'Neill is going to join us on our podcast. Like
I mean,
again, don't think Cheryl's ever. I mean, she comes from radio way back in the
hmm
day. Like she's a
hmm
performer way back in the day, but I don't think I've ever seen her on anybody else's.
I don't know. I think she might have done one other one, which is Trisha's, but
Yeah, she's the only one that comes to mind. That was my first podcast
mm, okay.
appearance is Trisha's. Thank you,
hmm
Trisha. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
amazing.
so Cheryl, yeah, it's going to be quite amazing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We will get some emotional and physical information and a little bit of a breakdown of what that actually is.
E&P to the rescue.
So if
Mm-hmm.
you want to know why your life is going the way it's going with the people that you're surrounded with, this is the episode for you to watch.
Yes.
And she has, she comes from directly, working right underneath Dr. John Kappas.
Yeah. Mentor.
She was,
Her mentor.
yeah, that was her mentor for two
Yeah.
years. This is, the direct information. I mean, the only thing more direct would be his child, which is coming.
Who's on the list? Yeah.
Mr. George
Yeah.
Kappas.
He's
I'm so excited.
behind the velvet rope.
hmm
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Kind of
And
exciting.
there are many others that are coming, but
Many others.
many others, but
Yeah.
this is the three this section. We'll call it this month, this next 2 months. So
Exciting. Exciting
I'm
stuff.
stoked.
Yeah. Yeah.
hmm Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Okay.
do
So
we want to talk about anything else?
yeah.
Yeah, why not? Sure. Um,
hmm
I've just been when I'm teaching at HMI and I keep going over kind of the same material with different classes, right? Because they're always kind of cycling through, and um, this whole pre-induction, and then when I'm instructing it and then coaching it, and then I'm experiencing it with a new client. It's just different. And I'm like I've been really kind of trying to hone in on in my consultations, trying to understand what this whole fear is that people have. And we've talked about this before. And I think for
hmm
me, like the basis point of it is that most of us fear the unknown. And while your uncle or your mom's brother, that would be your uncle, if somebody in your family has, I hear this a lot, right? Like, oh yeah, so my mom's cousin used hypnosis to quit smoking. That
hmm
seems to be the kind of atypical
hmm
line that I hear when I ask, what's your experience with hypnosis? What comes to mind when you hear that word? Because I want them to expose those inner fears that they have
hmm
about why is it. What are you noticing? Are you noticing a shift at all, or am I just noticing it because I'm focusing on it?
Um, well, that's funny. Yes.
Interesting.
I don't. I not typically with my clients. With people that I might be speaking with that more fall in the line of patients of mine. Because there's a difference between clients and patients. Because I like to balance multiple things.
Sure.
But I notice it with an older generation. They tend to fall into the older generation tends to
Ah,
fall into
so the
that
boomers,
fear.
or are we talking Gen
We
X,
are
like
no,
early
we're
Gen
talking
Xers?
no boomers and early Gen Xers.
Yeah.
They fall into that line of it's mind control, which is interesting considering when they were younger, that's actually when Manchurian Candidate and Mind Control or MK Ultra was coming out
Yeah.
through like government usage. So it's interesting that that comes um, with that demographic. But the younger
Mm-hmm.
demographic looks at it and kind of goes, "Well, yeah, I know it totally works. I read the CIA reports." Um, and which is funny, right? Like, 'cause
Right.
you have that compare and contrast. But that's who I hear it from, and it's really just a weird, like, they're going to mind control you, you're going to get stuck. It's
Yeah.
magic. It's basically what you see on TV and in movies. And really, the bottom line is, like, the media can influence your opinion.
Can,
I was
does.
being nice, Don.
No, don't be nice. Pull the gloves off. What
Oh,
are you kidding?
oh no,
That's
don't
what
say
our
that.
listeners count on. They're going to get the
Um,
cold hard truth from
okay.
us. Yeah.
Um, I mean, you you said it. So, but yeah, seriously, the media has purposefully done it this way because it was backed by the CIA. Sorry.
And if you think about it, if you think of a run of television shows, and it would be
Mm-hmm.
difficult to list them all out, but several
I had
jump
a
to
list.
mind, unless you already have a working list,
I have a list of movies.
that supports the trickery, right? The control, if you will. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's just interesting how the media, television, movies,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely supports the agenda.
Well, yeah, I mean, they support it because it's protected. I think it's the information that's actually protected because they know it works. There's no money in the cure. There's only money in treatment. It's why
Yeah, that's a cold hard one right there. You know,
I'm sorry, but it's
I
true, or they
know it,
wouldn't be
and
protecting it.
you know, for those of you that immediately just kind of like either like set us aside or put us over into the
Sorry.
conspiracy theory kind of corral. Yep, you're right. It's conspiracy really. Reality is what it is.
Hmm.
It's not even
Yeah.
about conspiracy anymore. So many things are being debunked, and there's so much information available now. Um,
Hmm. I mean, with the look, the information that's come out that the CIA was using it, right? And the doctor that was the one that um, really kind of worked with the CIA is the father of David Spiegel,
huh.
who works out of Stanford, who
Yeah.
is accredited to using hypnosis for opioid addiction and pain.
Yeah.
So,
He's like the first name I remember hearing about from a very accredited source, right? Harvard, right? It was Harvard or
right,
no, Stanford,
it's
Stanford,
Stanford.
and a doctor and not a hypnotherapist per se, but um, swimming in those therapeutic waters with a hypnotic oar.
Yeah, he is one, and the other one is oh, hold on. There's another doctor that
More evidence that we are not scripted.
sorry guys. Um, so there's Dr. John Sarno out of NYU that uses it. I believe he is the doctor that says pre and post op hypnosis helps with recovery of the cells. Um, there's also um, Christine Northrup, who is also a doctor. She is an OBGYN physician. She uses it. Like, these are big doctors. Like, so this whole thing about it not being a viable source is ridiculous. Or the whole thing about it being magic or mind control is ridiculous. I'm not saying that those things, it wasn't used for that with the CIA,
Yeah,
but that's not what hypnotherapy is.
yeah,
That is mind control or MK Ultra.
right.
So these are worlds apart. It's
Why
like
do
the
you think
difference
we get lumped
between
in?
Advil and Vicodin.
Why do you think we get lumped in?
Um, we've already said why. There's
Yeah. Okay.
no
All right.
money
Fair,
in the
fair
cure.
enough. Fair enough.
Like, I think that's really the reason.
Yeah.
And it's the fear of the unknown, and most people are afraid of that.
Yeah.
Um, you know, it, or it's the My favorite is, oh, I can't be hypnotized. I'm too mentally strong.
I love that one.
That's my
I
favorite.
recently, it's been a while since I heard a version of that, which is
Mhm,
like, I don't think I can be hypnotized, or they're worried that like they've heard some people can't, and then they of course latch onto that fear, and it's like,
mhm.
very simply stated. I don't know how you handle it. I handle it pretty simply that, yeah, you're right. Not everyone can hypnotize you, but everyone is hypnotizable. It's just a matter of
That's
skill
close.
and technique and talent.
Right. That's
Yeah.
close. It's very close to what I say.
What do you say?
Um,
What's the Tina spin?
um, it depends.
Of
Um,
course, I know
well,
we're
if
this
somebody is
isn't blanket
really,
statements. I get that.
it's right, but if somebody's really kind of challenging me, I usually laugh it off and ask them when was the last time they noticed that they weren't in hypnosis.
Hmm.
And
Laughter.
then it leads into a bigger discussion of how often we are actually in hypnosis.
Yeah.
And it's such a huge amount of our time.
And
And again,
people don't realize it
no.
because
Mm-mm.
they don't know to name it that. They know
Yeah.
the experience that they have once you start
Hmm.
talking about it and fill in the blanks, right?
Hmm.
Then
Hmm.
they're like, "Oh my god, yeah, totally drive
Hmm.
home on autopilot all the time."
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, and it's not because I've had a few cocktails that I get home and I'm like, I don't remember driving home.
Nope.
Especially if you got a good jam going on the radio, or if you're
Hmm.
listening to, your car
Hmm.
play or whatever device that you're listening to music on, forget about
Hmm.
it. That's
Yeah.
like that's like sound bath and hypnosis.
Yeah. It's gonna be so good.
It's
Um,
funny. I made a good joke, but that is absolutely why I'm so drawn to the whole sound bath thing with hypnosis. I think it's such a powerful combination. Yeah,
I'm
I'm
telling
excited.
you. I'm
Yeah,
telling you,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
coming
yeah,
very soon, very quickly.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I think a lot of it's fear. I
Yep.
think, um, unfortunately, our friends across the way from us, which would be, some CBT therapists, I think they don't know enough about this subject to say anything positive.
Mm,
Some do. I'm not saying they don't. But
yeah.
because they're not really taught. I mean, they're taught a very short section
Yep.
of Ericksonian style hypnosis, confusion, really,
Mm-hmm.
um, which is great, but that's not what we do. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong. I don't think so.
So is it more about like, so I let off saying, it's the fear of the unknown. I think that's where it
Yeah.
starts. But is
Hmm.
it really more, I mean, if we're being honest, right, it's really more about kind of feeling out of control, afraid of what might come out, of being vulnerable or
You
being
know
tricked.
what part of it is the historical misuse of hypnosis.
Ah, historical. How about present?
That too. Um, but I mean, let's think about it like, back in the day, you would think a charlatan or a pendulum or
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
some, dark, seedy kind of guy. I don't know. That's just what I would have pictured. Um, and that is, I mean, as you can see, not who we are or what we do.
Yeah.
Um, but I
Have we
think,
made
yeah,
this delineation clear to our listeners? Have we? I don't know. I'm trying to remember if we've really kind of made a clear line that there is a distinct difference between a therapeutic experience with a hypnotherapist and a hypnotist. I do not
hmm,
consider myself a hypnotist.
absolutely not. I'm almost offended by
I'm not,
it.
only because I've experienced it, right? As you know, I was in a show. I've been to
Hmm.
a show. I've watched people like if you go on YouTube and just search hypnosis, the like 2.9 million people watch this guy do a magnetic finger pull. And
Hypno
because
gun
it,
is the name of it.
yeah, it's fascinating, right?
Hmm.
Because he doesn't put
Hmm.
them into some long, like it's,
They're already in.
yeah, it's just
They're already
interesting to
in.
me how, as much as that's popular, it's one of the things that people that I meet tend to kind of talk about with, like, the whole. You saw it when we were at the Rose Bowl, right?
Right.
I
Right.
dare to introduce myself as a hypnotherapist, and what's the
Mhm.
immediate thing that guy says to me?
Same thing they all say.
Gonna make me quack
Right.
like a duck?
Doug. Hmm.
It's
Only if
not
I
my
don't like
thing,
you.
but if it's yours, I guess we could arrange that. It's like the smart ass answer. Uh, but there is a definite line here. Do we
Hmm.
use, and I speak to this, right? Especially if
Hmm.
somebody's been to a show, like
Hmm.
the method that they're using to pick people to come up and be participants is about suggestibility,
Yes.
right? It's a bridge to a conversation about suggestibility, which is, as you know, everything, right?
Hmm.
Knowing someone's
Absolutely.
suggestibility is probably a big reason why some hypnotherapists or hypnotists can't
Hmm.
hypnotize someone, and why they have that experience of like, oh, I can't be. I've tried it.
Right.
What do you think about
Have you
that?
had a lot of clients say to you that they tried hypnosis and it didn't work?
Um, Not one on one, not
Mm.
hypnotherapy.
Hmm.
I have, believe it or not, I have a handful of smokers in the last kind of 90 days, that have come to me who bring up Alan Carr, who's brilliant and has sold millions of books, right? And his whole thing, I love his angle. Ugh, so sounds like a sales pitchy thing to say. Sorry, but his approach is that quitting without willpower, which I just love because, yeah, as we know, the 5, 10, or as Kappa says, 12% of our conscious mind is not going to beat the 88, 90, or 95, which is the subconscious. So the willpower is up here in our conscious thinking, like we're going to will ourselves, and then we all know how that works out, right? It's right up there
Hmm.
with I'm going to try and lose weight.
Try is a losing word.
Yeah.
It's a word that
Yes.
people say when they can't
Yeah.
decide to be winners.
Oh, I think the spin cycle queen just came out. There she is, ladies and gentlemen. Do we know that? Does the audience know this about my dear friend and partner here? Uh, Brutal spin instructor,
Yeah.
militant.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes. Torture. It's fine. It's fine.
Do you
I
miss
like it.
that? Do you miss that part of your life?
Um,
No.
no, no, I mean, I torture people on a daily basis anyways, so it's fine.
Yeah. So let's be clear. She's not torturing people as a hypnotherapist. Tina's also.
Sorry. I'm
Yeah.
also
Let's clarify what your hell you're talking about, girl. Okay.
sorry. Certified therapeutic Pilates instructor, which means I work in a physical therapy setting. And when people are doing physical therapy, they've really got to kind of push themselves to get themselves back to homeostasis.
I've only had to
So,
use PT occasionally, like when I had surgery on my shoulder. I hated it because they
right,
push you and make you
that's right.
hurt. And I'm like, me
Right,
not like hurt.
fine. You'll get through it. But the most fascinating thing is, speaking of people being in hypnosis and how quickly it does happen,
Mm-hmm.
um, my patients that come in, the first time I see them, I treat that as almost an induction.
I wondered about this. I'm so glad that you just said that. I was wondering if you use a little
I
hypnotic
do.
language or use your conversational hypnosis techniques with them.
So, yeah, first of
You're
all, I
not counting
assess.
them down though, right? You're
No, I
not.
am.
You are?
So here's the trick, right?
Wow. Okay,
So
that's
I'm gonna
so
let the cat out
cool.
of the
You're
bag
such a
here.
badass.
So here's the deal. I mean, it's inadvertent and it because hold on. So let me just say it this way. So when they come in, I have to assess them, what's wrong with them, blah, blah, blah. And I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
to them, I can tell. Are they more physical or are they more emotional?
Interesting.
So, so at that point, then I'm going to speak to them in the way they can hear me,
Yes. Great.
um, which is great,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So then I can get them to do pretty much whatever I want because they're so resistant because they're afraid of the pain or fear of being hurt. So
Yeah.
I have to speak to them in a way that makes them feel really comfortable. And
Mm-hmm.
then I got to get them to lay down on my reformer. So
That's
we're
that
already,
apparatus that everybody sees that gets worried about when they even
yes,
consider Pilates.
yes, yes.
Mostly
It
men,
is.
let's be honest,
Yes,
right?
I know. Men are
We're not
always
very
afraid of this.
bendy.
Men are always afraid of this. So then I got
It's
to
a
get them to,
torture device. So you went from torturing people on spin cycles
Mhm,
to
mhm.
this, what's that apparatus called again?
It's called a reformer.
The reformer. Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
So I get them to lay down. Okay, so you are going to start noting all of the things that coincide with hypnosis or hypnotherapy.
Right.
And then I'm talking to them. And so they've got to do repetitions, whether it's, basic footwork. So that's how it starts out. Your heels are on the bar and go ahead and push back. And so then I don't count the first five. I count the last five. I'm like, and
Nice.
five, four,
It's nice.
three,
Nice,
two,
subtle. Nice.
one. Okay, push all the way back, come all the way down.
All
Let's
right.
do
So
it
you don't throw a
again.
zero in. You're not deep sleeping.
Sometimes I
You're
do.
sometimes. Yeah.
Sometimes I'll throw a zero in all the way back to the reformer, all the way back. But I
Nice.
have to do it multiple times. So technically, they are in hypnosis.
Yeah.
They will do, what absolutely works for them. And they know it. And they walk out thinking, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. So
So
not only, hold on,
go
wait,
ahead.
not only do these people walk out going, this is the best thing ever, but they don't want to go and see their other PTs. They only want to come back and see me. So go ahead with your question now that I'm finished.
I had to write it down. That's why I'm like leaning over and typing because I don't have my
I
notebook in
know.
front of me this time. You're helping them. It's very similar to what we do in
Absolutely.
our sessions with hypnotherapy clients, right? You're getting them to allow this state to settle in, right? They're giving you permission to guide them.
Oh, yes. They
That's
absolutely
key.
put their I've had people walk in and say, you're going to fix me, right? Yes, I will fix you. Yes,
Interesting.
absolutely. Or they will, I have patients that come in and it might be their second or third time, but they are just verbally telling me everything. They're like, oh, this is the best physical therapy ever because I get therapy
Uh-huh.
and, Pilates at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And then they realize that I'm a hypnotherapist
Right.
because I tell them.
Okay.
So
And how
they
does that
know.
land? Just out
Usually
of
well,
curiosity.
usually really well. They're like, oh, that makes so much sense. I'm like, yeah, it's a mind body connection. Isn't just physical, it's mental.
I like it.
Yeah. So
That's
pretty
awesome.
busy. Pretty
Pretty
busy.
busy. You're
Pretty
hilarious.
busy. Pretty busy.
All right.
But yeah, so
So here's the thought.
yep.
Uh,
Stop.
hmm. Well, first of all, I want to interrupt myself with that thought because I'm not sure about that thought. But what I am sure about is it feels like I'm interviewing you today. But I love it. I love it because I love you and I love what you're up to. And as people have heard, I have no problem talking about me. So we're way more interested in hearing about you because you're pretty awesome.
No, thank you. But
Yeah.
um, go ahead. What was the next question?
Uh, it was just kind of along the lines of this whole kind of indirectly guiding them through kind of a hypnotic journey indirectly. And the thought occurred to me like if you were to purposely incorporate hypnosis, what would that look like? And would you, I would imagine you'd have to clear it with the doctor. right? Who's now practice that you're under? No,
No.
you get free reign as an independent contractor.
Hmm. I
It's
have
really
done this.
about the output, right? The happy client
Hmm.
who's
Hmm.
getting rid of the
There.
pain.
Hmm.
That's the
Hmm.
key.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. I mean, it is. Um, I had a group of women during COVID that I would do mat Pilates with. And at the end of this
Matt. Okay.
mat
I
Pilates,
think you've offered to do that with me.
I have. I tried to help you and you're
I've turned
afraid
you
of me, but
down
it's fine.
repeatedly.
It's fine. I try to help and you're just afraid and
Hey, I
that's
got the
fine.
thing for my neck. I
Hmm.
listen.
Does it work or did you use it?
I don't need it anymore. It stopped
Mm-hmm.
hurting. Just like when I went through that whole throat thing. Do you remember that?
Hmm.
And
I do.
I got that special spray for singers that you
Throat coat.
recommended. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. So these women, so what I started doing was, mat Pilates is pretty brutal. Like,
Hence
you
why I
know,
said no thanks. But go
right. I
ahead.
mean, you're afraid. It's fine.
I'm not stupid.
I'm just trying to help your back.
I know.
So, anyways, what I started doing with them was after we would work out, I would do hypnosis on all of them in a group on Zoom. And what I was trying to figure out was if I can get them to focus on a cellular level, would their recovery time be faster?
Mm.
And the answer was yes.
Oh God, yeah.
So normally you would do mat Pilates and the next day you'd be kind of sore, you could feel where you worked out. These women didn't feel this way. And
Yeah.
they were very clear, like, oh, it doesn't hurt anymore. We can keep going. And I'm like, okay. So I would just keep pushing. But yes, on a cellular level, it does
Yeah.
work. I would do it after we worked out. I'd do like a 10-15 minute session.
Very cool.
So,
So I wrote this note to myself down earlier when you were naming the two physicians.
uh-huh.
And we had talked about this gentleman as a potential guest as we went through the Rolodex of people we want to have onto the podcast.
Bruce
Um,
Bonnet.
Bruce would speak to the validity and the stuff. I mean, there's so many medical studies, right? So from a
Right.
medical standpoint, he is the authority.
Absolutely. He can
And
rattle them off.
yeah, that
Yes, I think we need to have, yeah.
absolutely. I believe I put him on the list when we were brainstorming
Okay.
the other day. Let me bring up the master list. I'm
These
pretty
poor
sure he's on
people.
it.
People that are listening to us are probably like, what are they doing?
Uh,
This is us.
he's on it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that definitely, he can absolutely speak to it. I think that it would be a great idea to have him on here and maybe discuss um, some of the research that he knows about. Um, yeah.
Yeah. That would be part 3 of demystifying this wacky word called hypnosis.
Well, right. Despite the negative perceptions, because that's all it is a negative perception, you know, which you
And
can
perception
readily
is
change.
is everything. It's what we work with, right? If you give me your perception and then we talk about what you'd like instead, that's the power of being able to literally, it's not about mind control, it's about freeing the mind because they're trapped in the loop, this repetitive, ongoing, oh, it always me. That always happens to me. Oof, just the worst loop ever.
Well, your brain will focus on what you say.
Yeah.
Think about it that way.
Be careful
It's
what you
really that
say.
simple.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We're back to
Hmm.
Shad.
Yeah. Well, watch your mouth. Like,
Yeah. Watch your mouth. That's
well, it's
funny.
funny. I have to.
Watch what you say. Be careful what you say because you're listening.
That's right. Watch your mouth. I'm
Watch
talking
your
to you.
mouth. God, that sounds like something one of our parents would have said.
Well,
And
that's
what
why I
I
said it.
keep you hearing you say is, I'm going to wash your mouth out with soap, young man.
Well, that's your trauma showing.
I,
My trauma
I've
is
worked
watch your
through
mouth.
that trauma. It's just still just a trigger point, though, of
Mhm.
like,
Absolutely. This is really funny. So this is perfect because look, I said something and you instantly went to that. Just like when we talk about hypnosis or hypnotherapy, people automatically go to that. What they need
Automatically.
to
Yeah.
automatic. And it's, perception, but it's also, it's the misinformation. This isn't factual information that they're getting. It's a misrepresentation in social media. It's a misrepresentation on, television and news. It's a lot.
And in the spirit of our guest next week, that magical, mystical word, IR. I just had an experience of my internal representation of that word. Just the word wash had me drift back to memories of my.
But I didn't say watch. I said
I know you
wash your
didn't. I'm
mouth. And
saying
then
that
you
was
took it.
my internal
Right.
representation of what you were saying. And
Right.
we all
Right.
have that.
Right. Right. And, I'm Joe, Mr. Tavernella,
Mm-hmm.
would have a field day with that one right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like I
I
need
can't
to
wait
add
for
that
next
onto the list.
week.
I don't
Yeah.
know. We should probably warn people that these next episodes coming up are, as you poked at me offline, we're not gonna constrain it to an hour. We're gonna let some of
You
these folks
cannot
talk as long as they damn well please.
you cannot constrain Joe
There's
Tavernella. You
no.
you cannot
You
constrain
could you could
George.
paint some pretty guardrails, but
I don't really want to. I want to see
I
whatever
don't
they have
either.
to
I don't either.
say.
I want to
Um,
kind of like ask them something and then let them go.
I mean, yeah, these are, these are people you want to hear from, trust me.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know anything about hypnosis, by the time they're done talking, you're going to know what you need to know. Like
Yeah.
it's that's who they are. Um, you
These are
know,
the power bank episodes coming up. Power up.
yeah. This is definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. These should be extra credit at HMI.
Huh?
These should be extra credit episodes at HMI.
You know, I
I'm going
joked
to ask
I
if
joked with you offline that like when are we going to talk to George about sponsoring our podcast? But maybe we get to
I'm
a
going to
thousand
ask him,
listeners first. So hey, subscribe, you people.
like, follow, share. Absolutely. Like, I think they should be extra credit.
Some CPUs
Absolutely. Absolutely. They
listening to
should
the
get some.
episode, right?
Yeah,
Actually,
I'm going to ask them.
the evidence would be we could give like a keyword at the end of the episode, and then of course the hackers are already thinking I'll just fast forward to the end, but you have to
No, it won't be
listen
at
to
the
the
end.
podcast to get the keyword to get credit for having listened to the production. That's a
Hmm.
pretty good idea.
Yeah, I think the keyword might be somewhere else, though. It won't just be at the end.
Yeah,
And I'm going to leave it at that because I already know.
you already know. All right.
I'm so excited. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, but back to the fear of demystifying. Um, I think the lack of influence of experts in the media, like I mean the big media, not social media. Like
Right.
I think that really is the problem. All you need is one. Um, yeah. But I think the cultural trend and movement is moving towards a more um, holistic approach to things because the same old is not working
Yeah.
as far as, anxiety or sleep or food or smoking or, just mental health in general.
Yeah.
I mean, if you spent time working with a hypnotherapist, even if it was just to better your mental health, you will, by leaps and bounds, be better than you could imagine, just out of mental health,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah, I got the most interesting compliment from somebody that was referred to me, and he's got a way overactive mind. We I think I've mentioned this to you offline, and it was
Hmm.
so interesting. Just after one session, he came back first of all, he came back, so that's great. That's always good news when they come back, right?
Right.
But he was like, I was surprised, grateful, but surprised at I'm already feeling different. I'm already
Hmm.
acting and thinking differently,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
It's pretty
I
cool.
like the ones that have anxiety and they come out of it saying, I've never been that relaxed
Yeah.
before. That's my favorite
I
one.
think I've told you my ultimate way favorite is my nail picker, the second
Hmm.
one, right? I had a couple
Hmm.
of them show up in my
Hmm.
life a few months ago, and um, she was like, I don't, she didn't think that she couldn't be hypnotized. She was adamant that she couldn't lay still for an
Oh.
extended period of time. And I've heard this before, right? The ADD people and the people that
Hmm.
think that they're just so hyperactive. Um,
Hmm.
and then, 40 minutes later, when I
Hmm.
count her up, I go, I don't know if you noticed. You literally laid still. You didn't even twitch
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
more than a half an hour. And she's
Yeah.
like, I know. Because again, you don't lose control. You're aware of what's going on. That's probably the biggest thing that people don't get. They think that we're going to, put them into some trance where they're a zombie that under our control,
Yeah,
which
that's what
is
they think.
absurd to even think that. But it's unfortunately it's out there. That's the thing.
Hmm.
That's the Hollywood
But
version.
that's the Hollywood version. That's a very nefarious version. It's also the narrative for certain organizations to do that, so it discredits the rest of us.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
are we going to save this
so,
conversation for Bruce? But like, I think we talked about this offline. The harsh reality of that the insurance companies will not create a code for anyone to use so they can bill their insurance company for hypnosis or hypnotherapy.
right, right. But they'll do it for
Mm-hmm.
acupuncture. They'll do it for, you know, I mean, yeah, massage,
Yeah.
Pilates,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
all those
So
things are billable.
that in itself annoys the hell out of me,
Oh, absolutely.
right? That you can go get
Absolutely.
acupuncture and use.
Needles in
I've
your
even
body.
had
Yes.
people try and use their HSA card to pay me.
Right. And they can.
Well, actually, what's interesting is that it went through because they paid me through Thumbtack, right? Because Thumbtack
Hmm.
has like
Right.
they have the best policy. Like if you let them pay you through Thumbtack, there's no fee for them or for me.
Hmm.
I gotta wait a day, but I'm okay with that.
Right.
I'm not
Right.
hand to mouth, right? But they reversed it a couple of days later, like
Right.
when their HSA bank kind of caught up to
Hmm.
you did what now? 360 what?
Right.
What's that for? Oh
Yeah.
no, you can't use
Right.
it for that.
Right.
God
Right.
forbid you use it for something that works. Oh boy.
Right. Right. I mean, the echo chambers that you hear it in, the narratives, um, I mean, it's too bad because it's a viable solution.
It works.
Um, yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
it works. When
Hmm.
other things don't.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, but you, it's really simple. There is a dark side to everything. Whether,
To
I
the
mean, you could take
force,
too
to
much.
yeah.
Yeah, yes. Well, it is May the 4th, right? I would just say,
Tomorrow.
hey,
Tomorrow, yeah. Today is my baby's birthday.
right.
He's
Happy
not a baby.
birthday.
25.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. And tomorrow is May the 4th, and this comes out tomorrow. So May the 4th
Mm-hmm.
be with you.
Yeah.
But there is a
On
dark
subconscious
side.
Sunday. Wow.
Mm,
How exciting.
wow. I can't wait for those images.
Yeah.
So there is a dark side to everything. Everything. Whether you take too much vitamin C makes you, sick, or if you take too many vitamins of the wrong kind, it'd be bad for you. If you take too many aspirin, it'll be your last headache. Like I'm just saying. Um, so, you've got this dark side of it, which is true, but there is a side that is so beneficial. Just get past the negative narrative and the media and the perception. Give it a shot.
I just had
You
an
have
idea.
nothing to
I
lose.
just had an idea. So we've had a student on as a guest. We're going to now have our heroes and senior instructors and leadership at HMI
Mhm.
on. Um, it would be tricky to do what I'm going to say it, but I'm kind of judging my thought already, as I often do. Having somebody come on who'd be willing to talk about their point of view as a layman who hasn't
Mhm.
been exposed to hypnosis or hypnotherapy, or maybe I just it'd be hard to get a. It's kind of like when you get a sample group,
Yeah.
the group matters, right? Who's in the group
Mhm.
matters. So it's
Mhm.
like finding somebody willing to be recorded and on camera and be part of the podcast, to be interviewed and just talked with. Um,
Mhm.
but somebody that honestly has that concern or fear or doubt or worry of that hasn't worked with either one of us yet. You know what I mean?
Well, if there's somebody out there listening and they want to volunteer,
Wonder Twin activate. Yeah, so there you go, loyal listeners. Feel free
yeah,
to
if you're
drop.
willing.
Well, listen, if you well, yeah, if you're going to be willing to do this, you're going to drop a public comment on this episode.
Hmm.
I was going to say you can contact either of us offline, but no,
You can just comment
just comment.
below.
Yeah,
I'm in.
yeah,
I'll give it
I
a
love it.
shot.
Yeah, that's. I think
Absolutely.
that's that next phase, and that'll give us time. Well, we're not going to do that next week because next week's Joe, and then the week. I mean, we're pretty booked for like the next several weeks.
Hmm. All
Um,
the way to
so we've got
summer
time
equinox.
to. What do you think about this idea?
I think it's great. If somebody wants to come on and have a conversation, I'm willing to do that. I think that's great. You want to learn something, you want to have questions answered.
Yeah,
I mean, you've got to be at least curious if you're listening to the podcast, but
right.
maybe you're not 100% in, or better yet, maybe you know somebody. Maybe you know somebody that
Ah, there
would
it
be
is.
willing.
There it is. Yeah,
So if you or your friends, because we know if you're listening, you're,
you've
on the
already
same
heard
vibe.
us kind of. Yeah,
Right.
dispel.
So, but if
Yeah,
you've got a friend that you're like trying to get them to get some help and you think this might be the way that would be the best way for them,
yeah.
bring them
I
on
like
over.
it. I like
Yeah,
it.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Nice.
To
Nice.
quote Mr. Kappas, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to do that.
Yeah. So here's the tag, right? If you're curious but have a little bit of fear, this is your sign.
This is it.
Step
This is your
forward.
sign.
You'll be safe with us.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I hear that a lot, that you know, they're open to it, but there's some reservation. And I hear it even while I'm, you know, teaching Pilates during the day in the mornings.
Mhm.
I hear it a
Mhm.
lot from them.
Mhm.
But let me cut to the chase. They're already in hypnosis. I've already counted them down, not deliberately. That's just, I have to count. You have to know how many reps you're doing.
Yeah.
Um, so, and then when I tell them that, their mind is blown. But they've also learned that the feeling of work isn't the same as pain. There's a difference between pain and work.
Yeah.
I mean, they're learning all these things and they keep coming back.
That's the testament right there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they come back just to talk sometimes.
Yeah.
I, I got some patients that come in and they just sit down and start talking. They're like, oh, it's therapy time. Okay.
Right up your alley.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is just conversational hypnosis.
Yep.
So if I'm doing that, they're doing that. Can you imagine what like the media is actually doing? Like I'm doing this in a 45-minute session.
Mm-hmm.
You're spending way more time than that on social media. So, yes, everyone is hypnotized by them,
Mm-hmm.
by social media, by, you know, the narrative that is out there. Change the narrative,
Yeah.
change your perception.
There it is. All right.
Here's your sign, change
There's
your
your sign.
perception.
Yeah.
I mean, so we're
So,
excited. I'm stoked.
yes, we is both of us. 100%. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that's it for
So
today.
that's it. But next week,
Next
better come
week,
back, right?
this
Because the start of something
next
pretty
week is
big is
blast off.
happening. Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I got to figure out like so the last time I played Thunderstruck when we introduced
Yes.
um your son, YouTube had an issue with it because it
Mm-hmm.
was considered what's that, royalty,
Copyright,
copyright, like
loyalty,
but
royalty.
how is it that I hear people using music all over the place
Has to be
behind
under
like
30
in
seconds. You
TikTok
have to
and
give,
Instagram and
I think it has to be under 30 seconds and it has to be credited that you're going to use the song and you're
so
not
I just
doing
got to
it
put
for
it in the show
financial.
notes.
I think so.
All right.
I think. If
Because
anybody knows, I mean,
we
you
have to
could,
do that.
I know it has to be
That's a
Thunderstruck.
must. Even if it's
Mm-hmm.
just 10 seconds of the guitar riff that begins it.
Yep.
He'll
Yeah.
know. He'll
He'll
know.
know.
Yeah.
He'll know.
That's our loving
Oh,
nod. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I'm excited. We'll figure out the Thunderstruck. Um, so our subconscious speaks. The question is, are you listening? It's your sign.
This is your sign. Take
Mm-hmm.
action. All right, Tina. Another great
Bye.
episode. Thank you. Love you.
Love you
Bye,
bunches.
all. See you soon.